Will you please welcome Mr. Tim Burton and Mr. Johnny Depp, ladies and gentlemen.
24 years waiting for a chance. So tired how I feel, maybe guess I confess. Now I gotta get used to living next door to this. I gotta get used to living next door to this.
You do it whichever way you want to do it, guys. Here we go. Great to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us. You know... yeah, it's great to have you both here, and I'm really pleased you're both here together because I know you work with other people and you do other movies, but when I think of your movies, I tend to think of you as a pair. And you've been together, what, is it 20 years now that Edward Scissorhands first brought you together?
Yeah, one journalist said we'd been working together for 10 decades, which was before film was, you know, everything like that. So
I'm trying to work that out.
Yeah, that's a strange thing to say. Was Johnny the person you had in mind for Edward Scissorhands, or was it a film you were writing anyway and then you were looking around for the right person?
No, I didn't, you know, I'd never seen the show he'd done, 21 Jump Street, but I knew about him, and I just, after I met him, I realized he was that character, you know, somebody who, you know, he's always been sort of misperceived by looking like a, you know, poster boy, and inside there was always something different, and that's sort of what the character of Edward Scissorhands was. And
yeah, so I mean, you were kind of a teen idol at the time. When that TV show, you were kind of a heartthrob in all the teeny magazines and stuff.
They were working hard to process some kind of a character to shove down people's throats, and I was misrepresented, really. I mean, you know, 'cause as far as I was concerned, I was just an actor doing a job.
You didn't enjoy that whole side of it?
Well, I mean, I don't know that anyone... It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
You know, when you go from, like, not being able to pay your rent and then suddenly, you know, all that kind of bizarre hoopla and...
So you were deliberately looking to change the direction of your career and change the way people perceived you, I guess?
Yeah, I wanted to... I wanted the... You know, I wanted the road that I wanted, you know. I didn't want to become anyone's product, really. That was basically it.
Here's what's weird. You're talking totally differently to the way I expected you to, because I haven't seen you being yourself for quite a long while, and I'm used to you either speaking like this, like a crazy person, or, oh, what a worst white chocolate. You know, it kind of... You do those voices in the films, and here you're talking like a grown-up man.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I expected it's like kind of like normally it's like a Michael Jackson voice. But I guess we don't see you being interviewed that much, and I guess that's deliberate on your part.
Occasionally, I become a grown-up man too. Yeah.
But you're kind of a weird person, I imagine, though, aren't you? Because that's what obviously. Because I don't see you playing normal people often.
I've been accused of weird. Yeah, I've been accused.
But you like being a bit weird, don't you?
Well, I mean, I just like to sort of, you know, I prefer to go down the road that I prefer.
Yeah. He's weird. Yeah, yeah. And coming from you, that's quite something, because you're no stranger to the weird side of life, are you?
well, I mean, what's weird, you know? I mean...
You two are. We got a double help in the weird. But do you go to Johnny first, because this partnership, it clearly works, and it's clearly something that you both feel comfortable with, but you do, you know, make other films with other people. Do you prefer working with Johnny? Is it your first port of call when you have a part, or are there certain parts where you don't go to him because you don't think it's a good mix?
No, I think I always go to him if I feel the part's right and think he'd like it, and, you know, also he's willing to try anything, and he also doesn't like looking at himself. He's never seen a movie that we've done together.
You don't watch yourself back?
I can't stand it.
Yeah. Because you're unattractive, is that it? No, really, what, you just don't like seeing yourself on the screen, or you don't like the performance?
What I prefer, I just prefer to walk away with the experience of the process and have, you know, just to have that, and then that's plenty. I don't need to see
You should watch them, though, because some of them are pretty good.
I might, you know, this one I think I might. I want to see, because this is, it's Tim at his you know, utmost. He's really gone far beyond on this one. And
well, it's a remarkable experience. I mean, I've seen this. This is Alice in Wonderland we're talking about now, Alice in Wonderland. And it's not the straightforward telling of the story as we recall it, of course. This is a different angle on it. It's a different period, isn't it?
Right. Well, I mean, I've seen there's been 20 versions of it, I guess, and they've all tried to, in some ways, be very literal to the stories, which are absurdist and don't really have a really strong linear. So what I liked about this was it sort of set it in a different framework, but just, you know, still the thing that always I remember is the Lewis Carroll characters, you know, the Hatter and the Cheshire Cat. They're just such iconic characters, and that's the thing we were focusing on.
It's a remarkable movie. I mean, it really is a very different thing, and I genuinely adored it, and so did my kids, I'm pleased to say. But it's really quite way out there. I mean, it isn't a kind of straightforward fairy story. It isn't like the cartoon Alice from years ago.
Well, I mean, people, they go like, well, it's darker or something, and then you had to go, this was written, what, 18, whatever, and it's like, well, you know, there's something that says, drink me, eat me, you know, that you don't know what it is. It's completely politically incorrect in a certain way that the story, you know, and this was, you know, as we said, if this story were written now, it would be kind of mind-blowing today. And, you know, it's been such an inspiration for musicians, artists, and so it's just, you know, it's in the subconscious of everybody in some way.
And you play the Mad Hatter as if he is somewhat mad. Is that, I'm presuming that's a deliberate thing. You went in there hoping to capture him as a sort of, not a kind of insane person in a depressing way, but someone who is touched by madness.
Yeah, someone who's touched by madness, but confused by the madness as well. I mean, I think it's, the idea is that, you know, if you're completely crazy and you're unaware of it, you're home free. If you're completely crazy and you are aware of it, there's got to be some bit of trauma there. There's got to be some bit of damage there. You got to be, you know. So that what we were trying to do is kind of turn him into this, you know, like a human mood ring in a way. You know, that he goes from, you know, severe sort of depression to great levity and then, you know, intense rage.
Kind of like people, sometimes bipolar people swing from one extreme to another.
That sort of thing, yeah.
I think it's one of your, if not your best performance ever.
Wow.
I think it's incredible.
Wow, thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's have a look. This is Alice in Wonderland. Well done, Jonathan. You must be thrilled with the way it's turned out.
Well, it's, you know, I just finished it, so, you know, it's like they have to take it from your cold, dead hand, you know. This,
Yeah. But you must have, you've kind of literally just finished it. I mean, it's only the last week or two,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. My hands still smell like chemicals. Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the movie, that's just... how have you seen each other change over this 20-year period? I mean, you've both been through similar experiences in a way. You've both gone through, you were both kind of successful, but you enjoyed bigger success as a result of your time together and as other movies. You've both settled down, you've become family men. So you've been on similar journeys, but have you seen changes in each other that you didn't expect to see?
Tim has to fight less for me now to get me into the movie.
Yeah,
'Cause he
after
used to-
Charlie, that
he
was
used
the
to have
first
to
time
fight,
the
you know.
studio said, hey, what about, you know,
Johnny,
this
yeah.
guy, you know?
But that's weird, because people now, they think of you as a huge star. But of course, for years, you weren't. You were in these weird, oddball movies, and they weren't necessarily a big opening.
I think the definition was box office poison, was that's what they used to call me.
But it's so weird to think back now. And I guess it was Pirates of the Caribbean that turned that around?
I think that had something to do with it, yeah.
Okay. How did they deal with your performance? Because, once again, this is something after the event, you say, sure, that's going to work. But at the time, I bet when you first walked out, oh, where, what you doing, all that? What you doing? That's not a bad impersonation, I think. But they must have questioned that, I'm sure.
They were most definitely upset, yeah.
And you had sit-down chats with them about this?
Oh yeah, I mean, sitting in a great big, you know, like a giant conference room, speaking with grown men about, you know, how many gold teeth and how many, you know, dangly bits from your hair.
So they wanted a
surreal.
limit on the number of dangly bits in your hair, and...
Pretty much. And, you know, yeah, it was very strange.
But you must have been confident then that you were doing it right. You must have had that belief in...
Oh, I did. I mean, I didn't do anything differently. I mean, I made choices for a character that I believed in, and I knew who that guy was, and so I basically just said to them, look at it, you know, this is the guy, and if you don't like him, you're welcome to fire me.
Yeah.
You can pay me. But,
It's kind of a win-win situation for you, really,
much,
at that
you know.
stage. But they, you know, phenomenal success. I mean, all three of them. And there's the fourth on the way. Is that confirmed now?
There is, yeah. There's a fourth on the way, and we're you know, getting through the script and coming up with some.
That's
really
exciting,
fun
isn't it?
stuff. Yeah, it is.
And this will be the same director. Is it Gore Verbinski?
This is a different director this time. It's Rob Marshall, who just did Nine and has done Chicago, and he's a very, very, very interesting guy.
So you didn't want to...
It's going to be a musical then, huh?
He's
Musical hits.
well, you've done the musical, of course, Sweeney Todd. And who would have thought we'd seen you sing? Because when you were in a band years ago, you just played, was it guitar or bass? You played
Guitar, yeah.
So you weren't a singer on stage?
Never.
But you did a good Sweeney Todd. Did you see Johnny and Sweeney Todd, ladies and gentlemen? He carried a tune. He was channeling Bowie for part of that movie, I think. Did you like doing the singing as part of the film experience?
No. No, I didn't. It made me incredibly uncomfortable. Because, you know, at the, you know, to step up in front of a microphone, you know, for the first time in your life at the age of 40 or whatever, it was like pretty obtuse.
And
unpleasant.
now in the new film, of course, Tim's encouraged you to dance on screen as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's quite some dance. Is that, presumably some of that is computer-generated, the dance?
No, the futter whacking.
Yeah.
No,
That's the name of the dance, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, just to know. But you've got to be... When it first occurred, I thought, what's that going to be? When you say he's going to fudder whack at the end, I thought, this is going to be good. Can I watch
Vigorously.
this with the kids? What's
Yes.
going to happen? And it's, but it's quite something.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to do. The doctor's given me a month to not. I have
whack.
to stay away from my fudder whack.
You coward.
The knee, yeah.
Oh, it's the knee, Johnny. That's why. You can't dance because of the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim might be able to show you a little bit of it.
I can't make my head spin around a
Yeah,
church movie.
Keith Richards, of course, appeared in the last of the Caribbean movies with
Yep.
you. And you're a huge admirer of his. I know you're making a film about him, aren't you?
We're doing, it's a thing that we've talked about for a number of years now, that we finally had a moment, the two of us, to get together and do like a first installment, if you will. And so basically all it is exactly what Keith and I have been doing over the years, is sitting around in hotel rooms talking, gabbing, having a drink, and we've documented it. So it's something we're doing together, and we did five days, and it went extremely well. He was just incredible.
At the time still, though, even though, I mean, obviously you're comfortable where you are and who you are, but there are times when you're sitting, I'm sitting opposite Keith Richards. Do you
Oh, yeah.
still have that feeling?
Oh, it happens all the time, yeah. Yeah, when he starts, you know, bringing up things about, you know, the early days of the Stones, and, being whisked out of hotels through laundry chutes and things like that. You just
There must
can't
be
imagine.
some chunks of that period that he can't remember with absolute clarity, though, I imagine.
I gotta say, you know, he's got a pretty good memory for what he did. He's got a pretty great memory.
I'm sure, like many people, when I saw the first Pirates of the Caribbean and realised that you were partly kind of like doing a Keith, the idea that you might be on screen together was an exciting one. Then when it finally came to be, what a great moment. Here you go. Remind yourself that this is Pirates of the Caribbean, the two of them together.
What? You've seen it all, done it all. You survived. That's the trick, isn't it? To survive.
It's not just about living forever, Jackie. The trick is living with yourself forever.
How's Mum? She looks great.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Let me ask you about presumably you like the Pirates movie as well. Do you, as a director, when you see other people's work, do you sit there thinking, that's great, but I would have done this, I would have done that?
No, because I know what's involved in making a film. So, no, I don't. I just worry about what I'm doing. And, you know, it was great that, because his success on that made it easier for me to work with him again. You know, I didn't have to, you know.